A pleasant good morning. Welcome to the National Cricket Centre. It's the Rising Star Under 19 tournament. Windward Islands versus the Leeward Islands. The Windward Islands winning the toss and sending the Leewards into bat. The Windward Islands, Janita Glasgow, St. John, Anisha Fontaine, Danila Crease, Selena Ross, Amaya Gilbert, Nehemiah Maslin, Destiny Edwards, Nisha Cherry, Shian Games, and Anisha Alexander. Leeward Islands, Jahara Claxton captain, Sherry-Ann Moses, vice captain Sarah Gandiu, Kimberly Anthony, Lakshmi Cyril, Aliyah Weeks, Gabrielle Harilal, Jacine Hodge, Lianga Warner, Courtney Brown, and Rashira Daly. I'd like to say a special good morning to Mr. Ruskin Mark.
Hi, good morning to you, Anil, and to all our viewers throughout the Caribbean and wherever else you may be receiving us. We want to wish you a good day. We have a pretty nice day so far in terms of the weather. The last time these teams were here, especially the Leeward Islands and some of the other teams, in fact all the teams, they were greeted by rainy conditions. But I'm happy to say that we set for a prompt start and nice bright conditions prevailing here. Not too far from here. In fact, just to the west of us, we have another game being played there where the Trinidad and Tobago team is engaged in action against Jamaica, and that is down there at Brecon Castle, Gilbert Park to be precise. And of course, the third game on today's schedule is out at St. Augustine, UWI Spec in St. Augustine. So a lot of cricket and a great opportunity for these ladies as we see in Kimberly Anthony is getting ready to take first strike. And of course, the Windward Islands are the ones who are actually leading on the table as we speak with 4 points. And the Leeward Islands, because their game was rained out, they had to basically share the spoils, so they each got 2 points. So with the exception of Guyana, who lost the Windward Islands in the only game that was played, 13 overs aside, it turned out to be an interesting battle because a lot of wickets fell when the Windward Islands chased 41 for a victory. And we saw that game and we saw just how close some of these teams can be, at times. So it's just a question of who would hold the nerve the best here. So Anthony will open the batting. And of course, it's the captain who, as usual, is doing the business. Aliyah Weeks and Anthony. There's a nice delivery, just touching down and leaving her outside the off-stump. Kimberly Anthony will be hoping for a good start here today. This is obviously a big occasion for these young ladies.
Yeah, an extremely good opportunity, excellent weather, tailor-made for cricket here at the National Cricket Centre. Everything is just, perfect for a mouth-watering contest between the Windwards and Leewards here.
There's a delivery going right across it. That's not the kind of delivery that you want to make a shot like that against, because it's certainly a delivery that is much too close to the stumps, and I want to believe she would have to be a little more mindful of that.
Yeah, possibly the jitters just around there, Ruskin, for the batter there.
Yeah, she's again this time playing with a much straighter bat and treating the ball with respect. A word on Glasgow. She is a We saw her in the last game, and she's very capable with the ball. So it would be interesting to see. In fact, she was one of the three bowlers that bowled their 3 overs, their quota, and she did very well. That's a good shot, and that's well played. They could get off the mark here, and 2 bites at the cherry, and eventually they'll settle for the 1. But a good shot to get off the mark with there from Kimberly Anthony.
Yeah, excellent shot from Kimberly Anthony. Glasgow just string on that leg stump. She just used the pace of the ball and worked it through that mid-wicket region. A valiant attempt, I must admit, taking a lot of pace off the ball, but poor running from the opening batters there, Ruskin. I felt they could have gotten back for 2 runs.
Yeah, 2 runs look likely, but it's one of the areas that I think all the teams will have to improve. We've seen it time and again. This time, just kind of frittering outside the off-stump. Leah Weeks, she's on debut. So this is a big occasion for this young lady.
So Weeks there, not getting back and across, not picking up the line, just trusting her hands. And the ball whizzed past the outside edge. It goes into the mid of the wicketkeeper. And
immediately her more senior partner, although it's not like they have 100 games under their belts, but she would have played before Anthony, and so she's understanding what Weeks has to do, and there she is, just giving us some encouragement, and immediately we see her getting her legs into position to keep it out to end over number 1, and just 1 run coming off that first over.
So an excellent over from skipper Janelia Glasgow there. Janelia Glasgow, Ruskin would have played the team, so she does have a lot of experience under her belt. And from what we had seen in the last game against Guyana, she did bat it brilliantly to get her team over the line at Bridgeton Castle in Gilbert Park.
So remember, the Windward Islands made a couple changes. Cheyenne Games is one of them.
That's off stump.
And also Danella Crease is the other.
That's center.
But for now, it is going to be Selena Ross.
Batter. Bowler's coming left arm over.
Bowling left arm over the wicket, as you can hear in the stump mic.
So Selena Ross, left arm seamer, taking up the attack from the pavilion end.
This one is hit in the air, but it's going to fall safely. It's really in what we call no man's land because the fielder at long on is way out. She couldn't get into it, and neither of those, the one at mid-wicket nor the one at square leg, or even at from the wicketkeeper really, was the other one who went chasing after it, but it fell well short of all 3 of them.
So just short on leg stump. She just tried to tug it into that leg side, getting a top edge. But as you had rightly said, Ruskin, falling in no man's land. But the score moves up by 1, so it's 2 without loss.
So brings Leah Weeks on strike. She too is trying to swing it through the onside, and the ball goes in a similar direction. A little slip and slide there on the part of wicketkeeper Fontaine, but a leg by is the signal.
So Weeks just trying to tuck that ball into that fine leg position there, not making any contact, but coming off the pad. But excellent work from wicketkeeper Fontaine, moving about 10 meters to her left there, and sliding away and picking up that ball.
So now they've decided to plug that little gap there because the ball has gone there on a couple of occasions, once in the air. So they're setting the trap, so to speak. And again, that's a good shot. That one hits Weeks at the non-striker's end. She couldn't get out of the way. Well. And she's in some discomfort at the moment. Her bat is out of her hands as well. And but you could see that ball was hit hard by Anthony, and she almost took Weeks with her.
Yeah, Anthony flat batting that ball. Before Weeks could have moved a muscle, it was already into her body. Luckily for her, it wasn't a painful blow.
But she took it flush because it was hit straight at her. There's another one that she's on the back foot too. Trying to cut it, probably cut it squarer, probably hit it a little too early and lack of pace in the delivery. But what a fine day for cricket. I think the girls are all excited. The young ladies are anxious to get on with things here.
A big opportunity for these young ladies. This one is undriven to that mid-wicket position. There's no run.
Anthony again, rather bowling's Ross doesn't have the pace of, say, Glasgow and some of the others. But she presents something a little bit different, if only in the minds of the batters, in the sense that she's left-handed. And her line is okay. It's just on the stumps, more to the leg more than anything else. And here we go again. And that's another good hit that is going to be tracked down. And they're going to settle for one again. So the run-in between the wickets, as we've alluded to already, is still something that they're going to have to work on.
Yeah, I'm sure the coaches will be taking some notes there in regards to how they can improve the running between the wickets. And Anthony's showing a lot of intent here, Ruskin, in the early stages of this game. She seems like she wants to get on with things here.
Well, she knows that she's the kind of the leading of the pair, the leader of this pair, and maybe of the batting from the top. So she's probably just asking her teammate to just hold an end and allow her the opportunity to, as we say, do the heavy lifting from her end.
Well, Weeks making her debut here today, and I'm sure that there will be a lot of nerves as well for that young lady striding out to the middle, opening the batting for her country. What a momentous occasion it is indeed.
And with another delivery on the pads again, they're going to get a leg by. And so one by one, they sort of fill in the kitty. Another leg by signal there. Our umpires for today, Kelman Kaulesa and Vicky Daniel.
So Janita Glasgow just getting that ball to slide into the right-hander, but doing too much and going into the pads.
And again, just standing up and pushing it back along the wicket. And it just shows you that Weeks, she may not have too many shots, but she's really an occupier of the crease. And so I think that, I don't want to say it puts pressure on Anthony to do the bulk of the scoring, but I think they've worked that out. They're just asking her to just hold an end. Yeah, she is driving outside the off-stump and missing. And that's where I think as she grows in the game, as she gains confidence, she'll get better at assessing those types of deliveries. For now, her role is to not try and nothing too extravagant. Just kind of hold an end, deflect the ball, and but don't get out. I think that's kind of the message that they want from her. They want to send to her. She is again peeling off and thick outside. She'll get a single. And that is exactly what they want her to do. Just deflect the ball and, rotate the strike as much as possible.
So skipper Janita Glasgow holding that line outside the line of the corridor there, just outside the line of the off-stump. They're asking a lot of questions. And again, I beg to ask a question, Ruskin. Even though it's a 30-over affair, the skipper should consider having a slip in place in the early stages.
Here she goes again. That's another big hit, and that's brilliant fielding. I wasn't sure she would have been able to pick it up, but she almost seemed like she overran the ball at mid-off, but she was able to cut across it and fielded it quite nice. Looks like Marston is out there doing a fine job in the process.
Yeah, so pitched up delivery from Janita Glasgow. Anthony just lofting that ball into the offside there, but excellent work from Marcelin.
Again is Weeks right in behind it, and playing down. So she's growing in confidence, which is a good sign for her and for the team as she feels the bat on the ball and is able to keep that one out. The end of the third over here at the National Cricket Centre.
Weeks. Weeks seems to be very, very compact in terms of her defense from what we've seen thus far, Ruskin. So at the end of over number 3, the score is 7 without loss.
And again, this is par for the course here, but I'm really glad to see the intent shown by Anthony because, quite often we see in a lot of the women's games, sometimes they're a little bit hesitant or they just don't have that part of the, in their think tank, the ability to hit the ball. But she seems quite at home doing so.
Well, she does, seems to pack a punch, and I love the fact that she's showing, that intent in wanting to score.
Again, she's standing up, just allowing that one to come on to her. Probably could have done more with it. She looks at it as if to say, well, I really should have hit that hard, and but she stands there, looks very determined.
So cross bowling from the pavilion, not quick by any stretch of the imagination, just about military medium.
And again, just putting the ball down. This one is a bit of a mess, but then look at how she tidies up there in the outfield. So good commitment in the field. Once again, players not afraid to throw their bodies about and limit it to just another single.
So Anthony punched that ball through extra cover there. Valiant attempt, but extremely well backed up by the fielder at the mid-off position. So that takes the score on to 8, that single.
That's another brilliant shot. At this time, Weeks presses the grab. This might be the first boundary. It is. So very well played indeed by Weeks, and that will give her the world of confidence. A straight drive back past the bowler, past the stumps, and bisecting both the mid-on and the mid-off fielders for a straight boundary.
So Cross picking up that delivery there. Weeks just leaned on that delivery and caressed it past the bowler, and it goes into the boundary. That takes the score on to 13 without loss.
Here she's again. Now you're beginning to see her just expand her repertoire a little bit. She's probably more confident now that she can, in fact, play at this level. So the butterflies have gone away, but she has to be careful. Now she has to understand you don't hit every ball. You still have to respect the bowlers. And there she does exactly that. Just sort of stands up and plays it in front of her for another dot ball, and we've seen quite a few of those in the women's game, not just at this level, but at even at the higher level. And she has to keep her eyes on this one. That one pitched and cut, and she almost found herself turning her head before the ball actually got there, and then eventually she was able to make contact. They almost got an overthrow as well, but it was eventually backed up in the outfield. So the end of over number 4, and at the end of it, it's 12 now for no loss. So
the Leeward Islands making some steady progress here in the early stages of this game against a very good Windward Islands bowling attack led by their captain Janelia Glasgow. Cross not extremely pacey, but what I like the fact about Cross, she's getting that ball just to angle away from the right-hander Ruskin. She just possibly needs to pitch that ball maybe a tad fuller in order to get whatever swing or seed is on offer on this track.
It's understandable that some of them are probably a little bit nervous you know, you almost take it for granted that, you know, that they're playing, that they're here, but it's still a big occasion for them, and they're working their way through it. And that is the experience there from Glasgow, just touching down in front of Weeks, but now you see Weeks so much more confident, getting into position. Although that one hit the outside edge, at least she presented a full face of the bat for it.
So Janita Glasgow, the captain of the Windward Islands team, maintaining that line just outside the line of the off stump, breaking the edge again of Weeks' bat there, but there's absolutely no catcher in position.
She's bolder, and that is the beauty there, and that again is the experience, because she knew that Anthony wanted to get after her. Anthony this time playing all around that one, a delivery right up in the block hole, and timber, as they say, as she has her wickets scattered all over the place.
So Anthony going for that expansive drive. Her head was up in the air. She was just throwing the bat at that delivery there. But Genevieve Glasgow, the captain of the Windward Islands team, making a very good breakthrough here in the 5th over here. So the score after 4.1 over, it's the Leeward Islands 12 for the loss of 1 wicket.
And that's a crucial wicket as well, because Lakshmi Cyril is the new batter. And again, a lot expected of this team. Actually, I think it's up to 14 now. It should be, is it 13 or 14 for 1 at this point? 13 for 1 is the score. But what a breakthrough that is, because she looked like full of intent, Kimberly Anthony. And the Leeward Islands, who didn't do all that well last year, I think was a big learning curve for them. But they're back this year looking to improve. Now we have a slip stuck in there. And Nisha Alexander is at slip. And just really throwing the bat at it outside the off-stump there, Cyril.
So skipper Genelia Glasgow smelling blood there and getting the slip in place immediately. But what I'm looking at is the fact that the slip is more in a second slip position, Ruskin, rather than the conventional first slip position.
Yeah, she is. She's fairly wide. There's a big gap there. And but she's bang on target once again, just making it difficult for Cyril to maneuver the ball.
So just maybe, Ruskin, the skipper, Genelia Glasgow, could move that second slip into a gully position. The pitch is not pacey. She's not pacey by any stretch of the imagination. And if it does break the edge, it's more likely to go into that gully position rather into the slip area.
This time played into the area. This could be interesting, but it was fielded. She just didn't pick it up cleanly and was not able to effect the run out. I don't think Glasgow was too happy, because there was a great opportunity there for a possible second wicket.
Yeah, excellent feeling there, extra cover there. Cyril playing a booming drive there, and it was well stopped at that extra cover position.
No interest shown there by Weeks, and that completes the over 14 for 1 after 5.
So Anthony, the only batter to be dismissed in this over here. Going for that booming drive. Her eyes probably lit up with that full pitch delivery. Possibly just telling herself that she could possibly loft that ball over the middle fielder, missing it completely. And it was timber all the way.
So it's going to be Cyril who's going to be taking strike at the top end, or at the Bolden Stadium end. There's so many facilities over here. You have the Otto Bolden Stadium end, you have the cycling velodrome end. You take your pick.
There's the aquatic center as well.
Yep. There's another delivery touching down just outside the off-stump. Might have just brushed the pad, hence the reason why it wasn't called as a wide. But
So Cyril looking to pull that delivery. It was a bit too close to her. Just brushing the pad on the way to wicketkeeper Anthony.
again, pitching up of just asking the batter to drive it. On this occasion, she did, but with no real power behind it.
Yeah, it just seems to be going a bit dominant bottom-handed rather than trying to use the top hand.
Here she is again, and you can see that she's kind of cutting the ball a little bit as she's bowling.
Yeah,
so not all of them coming through. She does give it a little cut. The hand kind of slides under the ball as she's releasing it.
Yeah, she just seems to be undercutting the ball.
White ball.
And that one went too far. And again, she's just probably trying to control her length more than anything else. So she's releasing the ball. She doesn't have what we call a high action. She has a kind of sidearm action. So the ball, she kind of pulls the ball down. That's well driven. Again, they're going to have to hurry, and they do. So they'll get their single. And so one by one, they're trying to push things along. Cyril.
That nice flowing off drive there from Lakshmini Cyril. She goes on by one. Well, she's off the mark. That takes the score into 15 for 1.
That's another beautiful drive. Again, just coming down on it and hitting it straight. And that's a good sign from Weeks. She's not afraid to hit the ball. If it's pitched up to her, she's going to drive at it.
So Leah Weeks showing that, she's getting more and more comfortable out in the middle.
There's another wide delivery way outside the off stump.
So Cross just losing the radar here in the last couple of deliveries. Still doing an excellent job for her skipper, Janelia Glasgow.
That's where she's so dangerous, and because she gets the ball, that's a little cut. And she could become a real handful once she learns how to line them up and will do it more consistently. It's the end of the over, and at the end of it, 18 for 1 after 6. Or 19 for 1, I should say, after 6.
So Leah Weeks growing in confidence, showing that she's got the capability at this level to perform. Opening the batting for her country, making a debut today against the Windward Islands. What a momentous occasion indeed.
It's such a big occasion for these young ladies that quite often you almost forget the fact that they're coming from different islands, some of them. So they're playing together for the first time, a lot of them. And so it's always about, how they gel as a unit and how they get comfortable with each other. And then they now have the added burden of acclimatizing in a new country. You're sleeping in a different bed. You might be bunking with somebody which you're probably not accustomed to. So it's all those different things that you go through. You're eating meals that your body is adjusting to as well. So it's a whole host of things going on at the same time. Oh, that's a delivery that's go for 4 wide, or is it a no ball? What will the umpire signal? It's a no ball, right? So really, it just went past her above the waist height, and it goes down to the boundary for 4.
So skipper Janelia Glasgow just missing the radar there, possibly looking for the Yorker Ruskin, and getting it, not getting a radar right. Wicketkeeper Fountain, she could have done nothing to stop that ball as well. So 5 has been added to the score.
And she's bowled her again. So what a comeback delivery this time. Or is it? It's a free hit. So she just went swinging for it, and they thought that they got the wicket, and but she was able to make her way back into the crease.
Well, I tell you what, it just brought back some memories that what took place last in the second test between England and Australia, where the batter was just wandering out of her crease. But Genelia Glasgow, she was screaming coming along the pitch, trying to enlighten her teammates to get her run out. Had they ran her out, they would have had to have both stumps in their hands because one was out of the ground, Ruskin with the ball in their hand to affect that run out.
And you could see them aiming for it. She's trying to repeat that delivery, but this time Weeks is on top of it, keeps it out on this occasion. So this is good bowling. She went back to the delivery that got that dismissal that doesn't count because it was a free hit. So it's one of the new dimensions to the game, but with a no ball you always had to bowl it over. And once more she is in behind it. So Weeks has shown good determination here, good technique.
Yeah, great temperament here from Weeks, showing a lot of resolve indeed. And you can see she's very organized in terms of her batter. She's just striding out and playing that ball defensively in the approved fashion.
Yeah, her technique is a simple one. Here she is again, just getting into line and allowing the ball to come on to her and playing it. And that's a good principle to adopt. If you're not going to hit the ball, then you're going to be blocking the ball or stopping it.
And possibly when she adopts that method, she could possibly just try and steal a single as well by taking the pace off the ball.
Here she's again looking to drive, but again Glasgow is right up to her, not giving her much swinging room.
So Weeks just plays a nice flowing drive out to extra cover. There's no run. The score remains on 24 for 1. Windward Islands winning the toss and sending the Leewards into bat.
This is a nice delivery, touching down just outside the off stump, asking her to fetch it. And she nibbled at it, but she didn't get a touch. It's the end of the over, 24 for 1 after 7.
So excellent over from skipper Genelia Glasgow, just touching down outside that fourth stump line. They're asking a lot of questions of Aaliyah Weeks. But on this occasion, she was just nibbling at it. It whizzed past the outside edge and it goes into the mid of wicketkeeper Fountain. So at the end of over number 7, the score 24 for 1. The Windward Islands winning the toss and inserting the Leeward Islands into bat. Kimberly Anthony, the only casualty thus far this morning, bowled all over the shop by Genelia Glasgow.
Amaya Gilbert is going to pick up the bowling, replacing Selena Russ.
So it's going to be a change from the pavilion end. Russ is being removed from the attack.
And again, generous flight there from Gilbert.
Gilbert bowling through and round the wicket. Right arm off spinner. Actually, she's bowling round the wicket rather than through and round the wicket. Oh, and this one is really flight. It was given some generous flight. Had Anthony been out there, Ruskin, I'm sure she would have taken up that invitation.
So Maya Gilbert again. But again, the field is so well set. It's difficult for Cyril Cyril so far Weeks hasn't had a chance to face Gilbert just yet. And again, because what she's asking you to do, you have to apply the power on the ball because it's basically coming there with no pace at all.
Yes, so Amaya Gilbert giving them no pace to work with, so the batters really have to generate their speed through their bat speed.
And this one is hit in the air, but again dropping short. But again, you can see her trying to get some kind of pace on the ball or power off the bat. But she has to be careful because she has to time it properly. Again, nothing to work with by way of pace here. So it's the end of a pretty good over for all intents and purposes. A maiden, 24 for 1 after 8.
Yeah, Amaya Gilbert, the right arm off spinner, bowling from wrong the wicket, asking a question or two of the batters. She's bowling, giving some generous flight to the ball. And what we have not seen on a regular basis, Rusking, is the young ladies, the batters, not really taking a stride down the wicket, trying to get to the pitch of the delivery. It's not something that we've seen in recent times.
But that in itself is a skill, and it's a learned skill. It's not something you just do, just so. Unless you're practicing it, leaving your crease could be dangerous. There's another good delivery as Cherry starts from that top end. She bowled very well last time out. Nisha Cherry.
Nisha Cherry bowling her off spin from the bamboo end, or the northern side of the ground.
11 overs cost her just a one. Got her 11 runs out on a wicket. Here she's again, a little bit of turn there.
So going past the edge of Aliyah Weeks.
And so they have to be careful. Now the field is fairly well set, but although she's bowling off break, it's heavily packed on the off side. They're just the 3 fielders on the on side. Yes, they're going right through the gap. They're peeling, and they're going to have to run it down. Now, it might have just brushed the pad on the way through, but it was very close to the stumps as well. And they eventually she got a touch onto it. There's no signal from the umpire. So there was a little nibble, it looks like. Or is it that she now signals a bye? Yes, she just signaled the bye. So there was no touch from the bat. So it's one more to the score. Takes it to 25 now for 1. And again, and this is signaled as a wide. So lack of pace there. No pace for the batters to work with.
So Nisha Cherry getting into her work very early here, giving ball some generous flight. She is getting some purchase from the surface.
And again, reaching for it, asking the batters to come on to the front foot as much as possible. And if she can get a little bit of turn and bounce, because she's giving the ball so much height, when it hits, it is going to bounce a little bit. This time it's hit in the air, straight to the fielder. Well, just as I was suggesting, it's going to bounce just a little bit, so you have to be mindful of it at all times. And that is the end of Cyril for 2. It's now 26 for 2.
Yes, lovely flighted delivery there from Nisha Cherry. Not getting to the pitch of the delivery, just looking at it again. Nicely flighted there, just outside the line of the off stump, going for that booming drive, not getting ahead over the ball, and spooning a very easy catch to extra cover. So wicket number 2 goes down for the Leeward Islands. Lakshmi Cyril caught at extra cover bowl Nisha Cherry. So Nisha Cherry getting into her work very early indeed. And it's a wicket maiden, no?
This is the skipper who is coming to the crease now, Jazara Claxton. And they're going to really need her to get things going quickly. So we've had the first power play. And so we've just seen the signal to start the second power play. Remember, in the 30-over game, it's 9 overs. There's a power play. And these young ladies really trying to work their way through here. 26 for 1 after 9, or 2 for 2 rather after 9.
And this one is hit through that backward square position. It's running out towards the boundary. It's 1. It's going to be 2. Oh, and it goes into the boundary now. It's a lovely shot there.
Again, Weeks getting into the stumps and pulling this one behind square for 4 runs. Her second boundary of the innings, the only 2 of the innings so far. She scored both of them. The first one, a lovely flowing straight drive. And again, generous flight.
So just looking at the replay again. Gilbert in 2 weeks. Flight to delivery.
You know, as a bowler, or as a captain, you ask your bowlers to put the ball up so the batter has to, above his eye line, his or her eye line, has to look up the ball. And pulling this one through the gap again. This is a good shot. There's a little bit of a foot race here. They're going for 1. They'll get a second. And good out cricket as well. Running quickly to it. And pulling that ball back in.
So Leah Weeks there getting deep into her crease there. Gilbert just pulling it down a bit. And she just muscled that ball into the mid-wicket region and gets a breeze.
Again, asking to do the same thing. On this occasion, can't get it through the gap. And this could be another interesting scenario there. The bowler didn't feel it cleanly, but luckily at the non-striker's end, Claxton had her bat grounded in the crease, so no chance of her being run out. That would have been very unfortunate indeed. It's the end of another over. 10 completed now. It's 32 for 2.
So the Leeward Islands being inserted here at the National Cricket Centre. It's round 2 of the West Indies Rising Star Under 19 Women's Tournament taking place right here in Trinidad and Tobago. 3 games on today, 1 at the University of the West Indies, 1 at Gilbert Park and 1 at the home of cricket in Trinidad and Tobago, the National Cricket Centre. It's Leeward Islands against the Windward Islands. Windward Islands winning the toss and immediately inserting the Leeward Islands into bat. The Leeward Islands losing their first wicket, Anthony, a ball all over the shot by skipper Janelia Glasgow. And Nisha Cherry getting the second wicket of Cyril.
That's a wide. Again, trying to force it outside the off, maybe turn it away from the left-hander.
And possibly just looking for a bit more pace than she had been bowling at. That was a quicker delivery from Nisha Cherry.
And the ball wide outside the off-stumper, cutting at it. And now she's decided she's going to go around the wicket to the left-hander.
So Nisha Cherry trying to make the adjustment. There is some purchase on offer from this NCC surface. And this one just goes past the outside edge. Claxton just allowed it to go into the mid of wicketkeeper Fontaine. There's no run. Excellent delivery from Nisha Cherry there, just landing it in the business area, as we say, Ruskin.
Well, she's dropped on a nice line here, and her length is pretty good, as you said. She's a little quicker. She's a little flatter, not much quicker, but a little flatter than she was previously. And this one is hit in the air, and just not able to get under it at mid on there. But it was, again, it was in the air for quite a while. Unfortunately, didn't carry.
Yeah, Claxton looking to work that ball into the leg side there. And that ball just spooned up to mid-on. A valiant attempt, but it just falls short.
Again, brilliant wicket keeping again, but nothing doing. Fontaine having the bails off in a flash.
But credit to Claxton, she was grounded. But a very testing over indeed from Nisha Cherry.
Much quicker this time around, pushing it through outside the off them to complete another pretty tidy over when it's all said and done. At the end of it, it is 33 for 2.
So 33 for 2 after 11 overs. Aaliyah Weeks is still batting there for her team. She's on 14. She's been there from the beginning, making her debut today at this regional Rising Star Under 19 tournament for her team, the Leeward Islands. And what a wonderful moment for this young lady, Aaliyah Weeks, getting the opportunity to showcase her talent at the regional level. So I'd like to say a special good morning to all our viewers and listeners wherever you may be. It's the West Indies Rising Star Under 19 Women's Tournament being staged right here in Trinidad and Tobago. 3 venues today, home of cricket in Trinidad.
Field. But again, everybody is just at the edge of the circle. This one is given generous flight again, but played down to mid-on. But again, the ball coming off the bat at an awkward angle.
Yeah, she doesn't seem to be bringing the ball down, bringing the bat down straight. So she's more bottom-handed, so the ball is more hitting the inside edge.
Here she goes again in the air. This could be a good catch. It is brilliantly taken, and she has every reason to celebrate once more. What a fine catch taken out in the deep, running back at mid-on and taking it over her shoulder there. And I think they will be very happy. This is Abina St. John, and she does a fine job in pulling that one down. And that's the end of weeks for 14.
So an excellent catch from St. John there, leaping high to her right and taking a spectacular catch indeed. But unfortunately for the Leeward Islands, the batter that seems really set and wanting to carry on, Aaliyah Weeks, she's got to leave the piece here. Good to see some brilliant fielding from St. John at that mid-on position, leaping high to her right and plucking it out in the air. But wicket number 3 goes to the Leeward Islands. It's all threes here, 33 for 3 in 11 2-point overs.
Well,
So it's Cheyenne Moses.
yeah, Cheyenne Moses is there.
So Gilbert getting into the wickets columns. 2.2 overs, 1 for 6, having excellent returns
That's me.
thus far. The projected score 87, Ruskin.
Well, they'll do well to get there, but they cannot afford to lose too many wickets. And this Windward Islands bowling attack is a pretty good one, and because they're blessed with some tidy spinners as well as their seam bowlers as well, medium pieces. And that's again generous flight. That one really floated up to the batsman, asking her to hit it, and Moses does well. Moses is the vice captain, so he's the captain and the vice captain out in the middle.
So Moulton getting a friendly half volley outside the line of the off stump. She caressed it through that extra cover position. She only gets 1 on this occasion. But even if the bowling sometimes is not the best, the feeling of this Windward Island team is definitely up there with the best.
Well, they've shown that they can fight. We saw the Guyana team also put in a good shift in the field, made life difficult for the Windward Islands, even though they were chasing a small total. They were made to work for that. There's another one going right under the bat, and this time Fontaine not able to pick it up cleanly. She and all seemed to be fooled by the lack of pace on that one, and maybe she thought it was going to hit the stumps because it went right through and just jumped over the bail.
Yes, luckily for Clarkson there, that ball just possibly tipped the bail going over, but didn't dislodge it. So Gilbert continuing her good work from the pavilion end. And this one is played down to mid-off. There's no run.
Once again, she wants a single. It's not there. She'll have to hurry. And the return not the best, but I don't think she would have been in too much trouble. She was able to get back before it was all said and done. So a fine over in the general scheme of things is 35 for 3 after 12.
So the Windward Islands making it very difficult indeed for the Leeward Islands batters here. After 12 overs, 35 for 3, they're really struggling, losing a well-set weeks in the last over via a brilliant catch at mid-on by St. John.
Yes, and I suppose that's what coaches like to see. Glasgow, he had 1 for 6, 1 for 7 for Gilbert, and 1 for 2 to Cherry. They are the wicket takers so far.
But the bowlers has been very consistent indeed, not giving away too much to the batters. The Leeward Island batters, they've had to work extremely hard to get scoring opportunities.
Yeah, it has been a bit of a struggle for them.
But skipper Janelia Glasgow, she is ringing the changes as well. She's not allowing the batters to get any kind of rhythm against the bowlers, and she's done a tremendous job in leading her team thus far.
And she's gonna have to keep doing so, because this young lady look like she too has to respond for her team. Claxton, the captain, and they're gonna look to her now. That's wide outside the off them, too wide on that occasion.
So Nisha Cherry getting that ball to spin off the straight here, Ruskin. And if she's able to get that ball a bit closer, she does have a slip in place. So it's clear that Cherry, she's looking for wickets. She's got that attacking catcher in place.
There's another beauty that spins past the outside edge. Beats everything.
Well, it spun past the outside edge, but it also missed the off ball as well. How did she miss that?
Not by much. And mixing up her deliveries quite nicely. A couple of them she's giving generous flight, and then she's becoming a little bit flatter. And the one that flatter is the one that she gets a little bit more purchase off the wicket. Here she is, generous flight. This could be another catch, and no, this time she can't hold it in, and they're going to get one, and they seem happy with that one, but that was another chance at a wicket on that occasion.
So Clarkson her heart must be pumping at 1,000,000 miles per second there, having lofted that ball to that mid-off position. The fielder unable to get around it, just going through her hands at the last moment there. So lucky escape indeed for Claxton. But it's wonderful bowling from Anisha Cherry, asking a lot of questions indeed.
Claxton finally gets off the mark. There's another delivery, just a turn, and it beats the wicketkeeper as well. She never moved. And they're going to go back for a second run, or will they? No, they decide against it. A late decision. And in the end, she had to go back, because it seems as if Moses wanted a second run, but Claxton had already switched off.
Well, poor running, if you ask me there, Ruskin. Moses was coming to the danger end. She was halfway down, but Claxton was having none of it. She was ball watching, if you ask me.
So they got the one run, and again, this one is hit. This goes right through. A little bit of the spunk. That's going to be 4 runs. It was hit hard, and a little bit of spin on it as well. Fooled the fielder, and it went right through the gate.
So a half volley there from Anisha Cherry. But Zahara Claxton, she square drove that ball between backward point and that third man position there. And it raced into the boundary for a lovely boundary there. So that's going to give her a lot of confidence there, Claxton.
And that's why I was wondering why it is that she had so many fielders on the onside when, in truth and in fact, she really needed to pack the offside because it's an off spinner turning across the left-hander. Um, Here she's again another beauty, a little bit of flatter one, but nice flight as well, even though it wasn't as quick as some of the others, still giving the ball an opportunity to do something off the wicket.
But Nisha Cherry might be well advised to take out the mid wicket, put her in that short extra cover position, and ask her to go against the line of flight.
Yeah, again the ball coming off the bat at an awkward angle and going in the air for a long period. Luckily for her, that extra fielder on the offside wasn't there to take advantage of that. The over comes to an end. 13 completed so far. It's 43 for 3.
So the Leeward Islands being inserted here at the National Cricket Centre. 43 for 3. Windward Islands doing a tremendous job in putting the skids on the scoring. It has been a very impressive bowling spell from both Nisha Cherry and Gilbert. Both off spinners doing their job here brilliantly at the National Cricket Centre.
So nice sunny conditions here. Some of the players under their broad brim sun hats. Others just allowing their hairstyles to blossom. Generous flight in the air, and it's taken. Well. Again, giving the ball generous flight. There was Moses trying her best to get on with the scoring, and she is caught at square leg.
So excellent bowling here from Amaya Gilbert, giving the ball generous flight, really inviting that sweep shot, not getting the connection and only finding the fielder at that square leg position. So wicket number 4 goes down for the Leeward Islands. They are now 43 for 4 in over number 14 and losing a very important wicket in Moses there.
And Ross, the fielder, coming in to take the catch, and she judged it very well indeed. And so yet another wicket goes by the wayside. You look at it, generous flight, and trying to, she needed to get on top of it or get so much under it that she could clear the fielder at square leg. She did neither one and paid the price.
So just looking at it again there, Ruskin, she was not playing with that bat coming down to hit the ball on the ground. She was more looking to get the elevation. But she didn't get the elevation there, just spooned that catch to that square leg position, and she has to leave.
So it's another wicket in the bag, and now it's up to, is it Courtney Brown to try her luck now?
So the Windward Islands have been able to pick 4 peppers early in the piece here, Ruskin.
Yes, indeed, and they. Again, I suppose they're thinking once they could continue to take wickets, they could limit the amount of runs scored by the Leeward Islands.
But what I would love to see, though, even though they are losing wickets, I believe that the objective would be to try and bat out their full allocation of the 30 overs, Ruskin.
Yes, that's the first order of business. And again, just not really. If you're not going to be playing an aggressive shot to a ball like that, you're better off just allowing it to go through rather than just hanging the bat out there and just trying to push it. And, so if you're not going to hit it, you might as well just block it or leave it alone if it's off the wicket. But she's trying to work it out there. She's trying to get into some kind of rhythm. Again, generous flight once more as she really can't take advantage of it. When I say generous flight, that's very generous flight because the ball is looping up in the air.
And it's very slow indeed.
Here she goes again, a wide delivery this time. And I know, Anil, as a batter, you would have been jumping down the wicket trying to get to the pitch.
Well, at least, Ruskin, you would expect these batters to at least take a stride down the wicket to try and get to the pitch of the delivery. They're just staying home.
Yep. But like I said, I think it's part of it's part of the learning curve for these young ladies. But the use of the feet is something that you have to practice. You know, you can't just come in a game and say you're just going to jump down the wicket and hit here. This one goes off the bat again at a fairly awkward angle. It goes in the air for a little bit, but it doesn't go to hand. That completes over number 14. It's 44 for 4.
So all fours in the books here. 14 overs in the books, 44 for 4. Leeward Islands losing the toss here and being inserted by the Windward Islands. And what we are seeing from the Windward Islands, they've got a lovely umbrella feel on the offside there. So it's very difficult indeed, Ruskin, for the batters to penetrate through that, between that backward point position into that extra cover region. There's a ring of fielders of 4, and it's making it very difficult indeed for the Leeward Island batters.
Well, they were 25 yards away, and so they're just hugging that marker, and just able to, or 23 meters with the 25 yards in the away from the crease. So they're right there, close to each other. So they're creating that wall, and they're asking the batters to pierce it. And quite often, with the benefit of a slowed field as well, they're giving themselves ample time to get around to those deliveries. We have a bowling change. Abini St. Jean is coming on. She already took that blinder of a catch.
So Abini St. Jean, leg spinner, right arm leg spinner, picking up the attack from the northern end here at the National Cricket Centre. Right arm leg spinner.
Again, she too is giving it some flight, and this is driven brilliantly through the offside. It's going close to the boundary. It won't get there, and they're able to come back for a second run.
So Claxton just leaning on that delivery there, caressing it through that backward point region. It was racing towards the boundary, but excellent feeling on the edge of the rope, restricting your batters to just 2 runs. But that takes the score on to 46 for 4. Claxton moves on to 7.
And this time she's sweeping well, but again, the field is nicely positioned.
So Claxton pulling out the broom, getting that ball down to deep backward square. That single takes the score on to 47. So we're just about the halfway stage. If we were to double that score, it's going to be 94. But the projected score is 87. 98 it has moved up to now.
And aside for the P, but she was outside her legs trying to hit it. She got it on the full, but she missed it
I felt that she could have.
properly. She could go past the outside edge of Brown's bat, maybe even hit the stumps or hit the edge on the way through, like that. And there it is. A little bit flatter, a little bit quicker, but again, spinning away.
And possibly just gripping the ball a bit too tight there, Ruskin, at the last moment at the point of delivery.
Here she goes again, trying to give it some flight there, but once more Brown is finding herself in a little bit of a knot there, not able to take advantage of it. And that is the scorecard. So far it's 48 for 4 after 15. And Anthony made 5, 14 to Weeks. And of course Cyril made 2 and Moses made 1. So 15 overs completed. It's 48 for 4. Welcome back to the National Cricket Centre and the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Women's Under-19 Championship clash between the Windwards and the Leeward Islands. I was just thinking to myself, this game could have been played at the Queen's Park in Grenada, could have been played at the cricket stadium, the Darren Sammy Stadium. You could have played at the Vivian Richards Stadium. Anywhere you could think of. There's another delivery that is cutting, and it might have just dropped out of the arms of the wicketkeeper. But once again, Claxton was trying to force it, and she might have just gotten a little nibble on it, and it just spun out of the fingers of wicketkeeper Fontaine, and they got a single. 49 now for 4. Again, generous flight goes right through her again, and she just stands there. Now, this is the predicament for Claxton, because I don't think she can tell the batter what to do at this point in time, in the sense of to become more aggressive to it. So she's probably just have to hope that she could block it, keep it out as much as possible like that, and maybe just try to help them rotate the strike as quickly and get her back on strike where possible. But so far, Gilbert doing a good job. Last one is given even more flight, and this one is played back to her. Is she out, caught and bowled? I'm not sure. And the umpire says not out. It's almost like he's not sure. But Gilbert is claiming the catch, although I'm not sure she and all knows if it actually made it back to her, if she got her arms under it, because she certainly was trying to get there. You could see her getting the arms under the ball. I think it dropped. I think it dropped just in front of her. Now, she couldn't tell because her head was moving. She just felt it in the arms. And so I think the umpire did a good job checking on it and realized that it just bounced in front of her. Once again,
but a chance goes up begging nevertheless there, Ruskin.
it's a difficult one. It was going to be tough for her to get under. She would have had to probably make a step further, another step before trying to get under the ball. But it all happened so quickly for her. This time it's in the air, and that's going to be a simple catch indeed. It just goes up in the air, and trust me, they're not going to drop too many of those. And that is the end of Brown. She goes without scoring.
So Gilbert giving that ball some generous flight. Courtney Brown, eyes lit up there, trying to hit that ball possibly onto anywhere close to Presal, getting a top edge. It goes out to mid-wicket where catch was taken very easily indeed. But wicket number 5 goes down for the Windward Islands. So they're really struggling here at the National Cricket Centre. In over number 16, they're 49 for 5 after being inserted to bat by the Windward Islands.
It looked like Cherry, who was the one who took that catch. Real dolly of a catch for her.
But Nisha Cherry is someone who you can't really keep out of the game. She's always in the game, Ruskin. So it's going to be Hodge striding out to the middle. So Amaya Gilbert, what figures? 3 for 9 from 5 over. She's having a wonderful time indeed. So Sajra is going to continue from the northern end. She's going to be bowling to Claxton. To Claxton, just taking a second or two, surveying the field, trying to work out where she's going to score her runs.
Jasonique Hodge is the new batter, but she waits as a Captain Claxton takes strike. It's a beauty of a delivery that goes right through, and she's out LBW. It might have brushed the pad on the way through. The appeal went up immediately, and a little delay there from Vicky Daniel, but she took her time and then made the decision. And you look at it here, touching down on the stumps and just brushing the pad on the way through. And Claxton would have had, as they say, had her heart in her hands there, hoping against hope. And then she has to go for 9.
Sidra getting her second wicket here. Excellent delivery indeed. Nicely flighted delivery. Claxton going for that booming drive, making no contact whatsoever. So looking at it again, Sidra comes in. She's going for that expansive drive. Had that ball not hit the pads, it would have gone on to hit the sticks. So excellent decision there from umpire Vicky Daniel, raising the dreaded finger, and Claxton has to go. So it's wicket number 6 of the Windward Islands, 49 for 6. The Leeward Islands being asked to bat here at the National Cricket Centre, and the Windward Islands have really put the skid on the Leeward Island batters, and they're running amok here. All the spinners, Abani Sinjar, Gilbert, and Nisha Cherry, they have done a tremendous job for their skipper, Janelia Glasgow.
Here's Warner. She hits this in the air. She too could be out. The catch is taken. Nice catch again. A nice running effort. And she had to go down low and came up with it. And they're just waiting. It seems as she might have hurt herself as well in the process. So quickly it goes from joy to a little bit of concern here as she stays down. And the ball lodged in her hand. But she seems to be okay. I think she is coming up, and the elbow is down. The umpire is saying no catch. And so she's not convinced, but we'll see as the ball went up in the air. And a nice diving effort coming in. Did she hold on to it? She got the hand under it, and it looked like she separated the hands. The right hand had the ball in the hand. The left hand went on the ground, so I'm not quite sure what the umpire was looking at there, but she would have been at a better angle because she could see what it was coming to her. Again, you look at it.
But she just seems to be in complete control.
Yep, look at it. She got it in both hands, still has possession here. Now that she goes down, did it come out there? That's the big question.
But even when her elbow hit the ground, you couldn't really tell if the ball was still stuck in her hand.
Yep. So that's but again, umpire Vicky Daniel was in a much better position to see it all the way. So she would have seen what we couldn't see from that angle, in the sense that once her back was down and the left hand had touched the ground, whether the ball came out at that point in time. So, hey.
But an excellent effort nevertheless.
Yep. As they continue to press on here, the Windward Islands looking for more success and almost having it there. And this time, Fontaine again not able to keep it out. They're going for the second one. They're going to have to hurry. This could be interesting. And she misses. Well. She had a chance of really effecting the run out, but she missed all 3 stumps.
Yeah. Taking off the gloves very quickly, trying to affect that run out. Possibly just overexcited at the last moment there and missing the sticks.
Well, it's a mixed bag you get from her, because her glove work sometimes it's good, and other times it's almost like she doesn't read what the bowler is doing, so she doesn't move her feet, especially for the leg side takes. But then when she gets it right, she looks so competent. As again, this is good bowling, nice flight, and the line is pretty good as well.
So it's Hodge to take strike from Abini Sinjar.
Again, the delivery touching down and squaring her up a little bit, just touching the outside edge. I think Anisha's Fontaine has to be very alert here, because with the spinning ball, it could easily hit that edge. This one again almost carrying back to the bowler and having problems there is Warner to negotiate this spinning ball.
Yeah, both these batters are really struggling against the spinning ball here, not having a clue of what's taking place out there.
Let's see if how she negotiates this one. Too wide. That's going to be a wide. .53 now for 6. Fontaine just flexing that leg. She might have twisted it, trying to make that save down the leg side. There's another good delivery coming off the inner portion of the bat. Might be a googly there as the ball ran towards the onside to complete a pretty good over at the end of it. 53 for 6 now after 17.
So the Leeward Islands really under the skids here at the National Cricket Centre. The Windward Islands running havoc here. All three spinners having a wonderful time indeed. Abani Senjar, Gilbert and Nisha Cherry, they're having a wonderful time here at the National Cricket Centre. They are enjoying the conditions. The ball is spinning a bit and they're landing it in the right areas, asking a lot of questions indeed.
So Maya Gilbert 3 for 9 from her 5 over. She will continue.
So she having excellent returns from her bowling thus far.
This one is hit in the air, in the gap as well. And they're going to get one. And, well, I thought they were going to get one. They didn't even get a single. Now they're appealing for a hit wicket. I don't think the umpire saw it. And because the bails are off at the top end, did she actually go on to step on her wicket?
Well, I wouldn't be surprised at all because she did go deep into her crease, Ruskin.
In for we from the stumps, if we could see it again. So I don't think the wicketkeeper would have made contact. Let's see when she swings and she goes through. Did the bails come off there?
Well, the wicketkeeper from our vantage point didn't have anything to do with that ball, Ruskin. So it's just possibly she may have clipped the bail there.
On her way through.
While
in a
pivoting.
follow-through, yep.
Yeah.
So
But
what
umpire
will the decision be? But since the umpire didn't see it, I think they have to give the batter the benefit of the doubt. And I don't think the breeze is strong enough to dislodge the bail, so it might be something touching. Whether it's the wicketkeeper's glove or the pads, we would never know because we couldn't see it from here, and neither did the umpires. So Hodge survives. So it's 53 for 6. Could easily have been 53 for 7.
Well, they've had some near misses in the last 2 overs. But the Windward Islands continue to plug away.
There's another beauty coming right back and just off the inside edge this time, hitting the off bail and dislodging it on that occasion. So she didn't survive much longer, Warner, and just a couple of deliveries. And now she has to go out for no score. It's 54 for 7 now.
So Maya Gilbert getting her 4th wicket here at the National Cricket Centre. Figures now 5.3 overs, 10 runs, 4 wickets. She's having a whale of a time here at the National Cricket Centre.
So 54 for 7, and the slide continues here for the Leeward Islands. And Rashira Daly is the new batter.
So just having a look at it again. Nicely flighted delivery. She tried to back punch that ball, hitting the inside edge, and it going straight onto the off ball. Ball all over the shop. So Maya Gilbert with her 4th wicket of the innings here. 4 for 10 from 5.3 overs. Excellent returns here at the National Cricket Centre for the young off-spinner out of the Windward Islands.
So again, another new batter at the crease and pressure being applied. They put the slip in, and they've just put a short extra cover in as well. Here's again just nibbling at one outside the off stump. Very little by way of foot movement here, and certainly the timing is what is the problem. You know, they're watching the ball, they're seeing this ball, but they don't know how to attack it. It's so slow at times too that it's almost like they fall asleep reacting to it.
Yeah, so Amaya Gilbert continuing her excellent work here at the National Cricket Centre for her captain Janelia Glasgow. And could we see the return of the skipper here to try and clean up the rest of this innings?
I'm sure she could, but if her spinners are doing as good a job, then she may just not bother. Here's one coming off the legs. A very late decision to even put the bat down, and but again can't get a run. It's the end of the over 18 completed. It's 54 for 7, 4 for 10 for Gilbert.
Yeah, Amaya Gilbert really bowling a tremendous spell here for the Windward Islands, claiming 4 for 10 in 6 overs and doing the bulk of the damage. And the Leeward Islands, they're really struggling here at this time. The past score, the projected score was 98. I'm not seeing how they're going to get to 98 at this stage, Ruskin.
It's very difficult unless they can get somebody to come and swing the bat and swing it very productively for them.
Well, somebody will have to play a blinder for them to get anywhere close to that projected score of 98.
More importantly, how do they bat out these 30 overs? That's, I think, a bigger question for them. Do they have enough? And can they survive here? It's not going to be easy.
But even in the domestic women's league club teams, they struggle to bat 30 overs as well, Ruskin.
Mm-hmm. It's not the easiest of situations.
So it's a no ball from St. John, giving that ball a generous flight indeed. So a free hit.
And again, trying to get it away now. Fontaine seems to have hurt herself. She's struggling as she tries to run that one down. You could see it, the wicketkeeper. She's still not 100%.
But Warner completely taking her eyes off there and missing the ball completely. And lovely flighted leg spinner on the line of the off stump there. Warner not having a clue of what's taking place. I would love to see the slip go into that conventional slip position rather than that gully position.
Actually, she could put 2 of them there and be comfortable, because it's right now I don't see them even getting the ball off the square unless she produces a rank to long hop. But if she's able to just get through with her action and just keep the ball on a good line and a good length, it's going to be very difficult from here. And this time, again, not able to get it off the square very much. And
so just bringing our listeners and viewers up to speed of what's taking place in the regional under-19 tournament. Trinidad and Tobago versus Jamaica. Trinidad and Tobago presently are 84 for 5 after over number 25.
Here's another delivery that goes right through her again, not stopped cleanly by the wicketkeeper Fontaine, but the end of another very good over. 55 for 7 now after 19.
So the spinners, Amaya Gilbert, Nisha Cherry, and Abini Sindra continues to wheel away here at the National Cricket Centre, making further inroads into this Leeward Islands batting lineup. But it's going to be a change from the pavilion end.
So now we have St. Jean coming back into the attack, Abini St. Jean. And she has done well so far in her 3 overs. She has 1 for 9.
So just to bring our listeners up to speed as well to Ruskin, in a 30 over affair, 5 bowlers are allowed a maximum of 6 overs.
wide outside the off stump, cutting away at it, but it's well wide. And so one more to the total.
So umpire Kaulisa stretching his arm out.
And again the turn. So once the ball moves off the surface, the batsmen are a little bit fooled by it all.
Well, they don't seem to be very organized at all.
17 dot balls in her 3 overs so far. That's another wide. It's a no ball because it dropped off the pitch. And that's how wide that one was. It actually dropped off the other strip. It dropped completely off the wicket. So it's a no ball and it's a free hit. So what could Daly do with this one? Swing for the fences. And, well, even then she couldn't make proper contact because, again, to St. John's credit, no pace at all on these deliveries. So the batsmen are the ones who are going to have to generate any kind of power from the bat. Another one outside the off stump, another one lacking pace. So here is Nisha Cherry once more. And again, bang on target. Forcing the batters to have to respect her, especially when she's on the stumps. And that is kind of the trick to when you bowl against low order batsmen. Bowl it close to the stumps. Don't give them much swinging room. And even though she was wide on that occasion, they still couldn't take advantage of it.
Well, I tell you what, I certainly believe that Janila Glasgow could bring herself back here and try and wrap it up. With the weather conditions, a very unpredictable Ruskin, run rate could play an integral part at the back end of this tournament. So they would possibly want to try and clean up this innings as quickly as possible as Janila Glasgow.
Well, there's your summary now, 56 for 7 after 20. So just a 1 run in the last couple of overs, in each over. And so that's not going to get them to close to that 100 mark that they were looking for.
So the projected score is now at 84, and that's still a very, very long way.
And it's coming down instead of going up.
So the current run rate just about 2.8 runs per over. So Leeward Islands being inserted here by the Windward Islands. Junelia Joseph inserting the Leewards into bat and vindicating that decision by getting 7 wickets inside that 20 over mark.
Well, the umpires are having a discussion there with the captain, Glasgow, I suppose clarifying whatever. Now, they do have a bowler off the field, so I'm not sure if that is the discussion as to when they'll allow her to bowl again if she's back home, but she did attempt the catch and went down. So we'll see if that plays into the whole proceedings here. Here's a delivery that just goes up in the air, but again, it hits in her under full and she can't take advantage of it.
Yeah, so just taking her eyes off the ball at the critical moment here, not showing no intent whatsoever. That ball should have been dispatched over that backward square position.
And this one is in. That should be out court, and it is. Neat caught and bowled here again. So Abini St. John getting her second wicket, and it's as easy as they say of taking candy from a baby. No power at all there from Warner. She just got under it, scooped it up, and the bowler judged it well and says thank you very much.
So wicket number 8 goes down for the Leeward Islands. They're really struggling here at the National Cricket Centre. The Windward Islands really pressing home the advantage here now, going for the Dragula, trying to get them out, dismiss them as quickly as possible.
So 56 for 8 now.
So based on what we would have seen last year in last year's tournament, Ruskin, this Leeward Islands team has not really, propelled themselves, further in terms of their development. We're not seeing that evidence in the, thus far.
Well, like I said, it's part of the development of the game. So Gandeo is out in the middle now, Sarah Gandeo. So she has some work to do. At 56 for 8, she must be thinking, well, how do I get 10, 15 runs here just to bolster this total?
Well, at this stage, Ruskin, it will take a big effort indeed
And that's
from
another no ball.
from Gandhi and Daly to even bat the 30 overs out at this stage.
Yep. That one pitched off the wicket for the second time in the game. We saw it in the previous over. So this is a free hit. But she can't take advantage of it. So she's left-handed, so she presents something a little bit different now for the bowlers to have to deal with. And this one is hit into the gap. They want a single, but again, the running not the best, and they can't squeeze a single, even though they got that one fairly deep. It didn't seem as if Daly was too interested. $57 for 8. This one is swung away. That's nicely hit over the head of the inner ring. They go for one. Are they gonna come back for the second? They will, and they will get it as well. So 2 runs, and refreshing 2 runs, one would have to say. Some aggression.
Yeah, Gandhi getting a friendly leg stump half volley and lofting it over that deep backward square position, and she comes back for 2 runs. So a welcome 2 runs to the Leeward Islands total here.
There's another one. They're appealing for an LBW decision. She's in the wicket trying to swing it away, and no, not out, says the umpire. And that will complete the over. 59 now for 8 at the end of 21.
That has to be very, very close indeed. Swinging across the line of the delivery. That did look like it pitched on. But umpire Daniel, she's in the best position to adjudicate. And she said it's not out. So after over number 21, it's 59 for 8. The Leeward Islands being inserted by the Windward Islands captain, Janelia Joseph. And doing justice to that decision. Getting 8 wickets in the piece with 21 overs in the books.
So it is a scenario here where they still have some work to do. In fact, they have a lot of work to do in order to, one, bat out the 30 overs and also to just try to keep scoring.
So skipper Janelia Joseph is bringing back one of her strikers here. Nisha Cherry returns from the pavilion end.
Not really on target there, but still not punished for it. So Daly yet to score. Gandeo at the other end, looking for to support her in the field or with the running between the wickets, but again they can't get it through. So
nice umbrella feel on the offside there. In outfield, as we'd refer to it, Ruskin. So even if it eludes the close in fielders, the fielders at the edge of the circle.
A nice, a little stifled appeal there for a catch down the leg side. Might have just brushed the tie pad on the way through.
But Fountain must be very, very, pleased indeed with that leg side take, Ruskin.
Yeah, she struggled a bit. Sometimes she's been left planted, and the ball just goes past her left hand. For a couple by, but on the other two. So it's just, I suppose it's a concentration thing with her. You have to concentrate on every ball as a wicketkeeper.
It is a very difficult job, as you know, Ruskin. It's possibly one of the hardest jobs in terms of from a fielding perspective.
Again, much generous flight going through, not out again, says the umpire. So another stifling over. For another maiden, 59 for 8 at the end of 22.
So the Leeward Islands continue to struggle here at the National Cricket Centre. The Windward Islands running havoc here. The spinners are doing a wonderful job indeed. And just to bring you up to speed with the game between Trinidad and Tobago and the 19 boys against the against Jamaica. Trinidad, they are 87 for the loss of 6 wickets in over number 27. Orlando James, he is batting there, and his partner Jason Agard is out in the middle.
Trinidad and Tobago lost their opening game against Barbados, so they'll be hoping to bounce back in this one. But it's not going to be easy because similarly here, and she bowled around the legs, first ball, and the skipper is back, and she just pulled the pad inside the line as if to say she's not going to be hit by this ball, but she left the leg stump exposed, and Glasgow says thank you very much, and she bowls Gandeo around her legs for 2 runs. 9 wickets down now. It's 59 for 9.
So just as we had predicted, Ruskin, Mark, the return of the skipper, Genelia Joseph, taking the responsibility, if I may say so, by trying to close off this innings and immediately having an impact there. Gandhi bowled behind her back.
And that brings Gabriela Harilal to the wicket.
So the Leeward Islands really struggling here. 59 for 9 in over number 23. It brings out Gabriela Harilal, and with her is Rishara Daly.
So again, she now has the unenviable task of keeping out Captain Glasgow.
But Captain Janita Glasgow is red hot at this stage here. 4.1 overs, 2 wickets for 6 runs, and she would want to clean up this innings as quickly as possible.
Surprised she doesn't have a slip. And here's an appeal for an LBW. She may not need it because that's out. First ball, so she is on a hat trick. And unfortunately for her, she won't get it in this game because these are the last 2 deliveries of the innings. And right on spot, cutting back a little bit, and adjudged to be out LBW. So that is the end of the innings. And, well, what a way to close it off in style. Back-to-back deliveries there from Glasgow.
So Glasgow, 4.2 overs, 3 wickets for 6 runs, and doing exactly what she had intended to do. Come back in her second spell and clean up the tail of the Leeward Islands, the team. So the Leeward Islands being inserted by the Windward Islands. They are bowled out here at the National Cricket Centre for 59. And what a wonderful feeling and bowling effort from the Windward Islands team. So they would require 60 from their full allocation of 30 overs.
So 6 for 3 from Janelia Glasgow. And so they must be very happy indeed, but they know that they struggled a little bit against Guyana early with the bat. And so now they have, I'm sure they're discussing it here as to how they want to approach it. There's only half the job done. They now have the second half to do here, but they must be very happy indeed with this effort. This is a brilliant effort from them.
Yeah, a very polished effort, on the part of the Windward Islands women's under-19 team here, led brilliantly by their captain, Janelia Joseph, doing the business here, getting three wickets for 6 runs and 4.2 overs. But overall, the feeling has been excellent, and the bowling has been spot on. So what a wonderful effort indeed from the Windward Islands, shutting out the Leeward Islands here for 59, needing 60 for victory in 30 overs.
There certainly is a brilliant effort on their part. Remember, they are the leaders on the table because they are the only ones to get a result. So they have 4 points, another win here today, and they could really jump out to a sizable lead on the table. So, and I think that's precisely what they are hoping for at this point in time. So 59 all out, and as the light roller is applied to the crease, 22.2 overs used as well, never reached the 30 overs.
Well, one thing to note as well with the Windward Islands, they had the opportunity to play in the first round, Ruskin. All the other teams, weren't able to play, so they got off the mark with a win over Guyana, and that four points, how much is that going to take them in terms of pursuing for the title is just left to be seen there, Ruskin.
But certainly the others only got 2. So even like the Leeward Islands, because their game was abandoned, so they got 2 points. But here they're facing, they're staring down a heavy defeat here, leaving the Windward Islands needing 60 runs to win in all 30 overs. We'll get to their innings when we come back. Welcome back to the National Cricket Centre here in Balmain, Couva, where we're getting ready for the second half of today's encounter in the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Women's Under-19 Championships, the Leewards against the Windward Islands. And Leeward Island supporters probably wouldn't be happy. 59 all out for their team, and that is thanks in the main to a splendid 14 from Week. She's the only one to get into double figures. But again, Amaya Gilbert 4 for 10 and Janella Glasgow 3 for 6 did most of the damage for the Windward Islands. Now they have a chance to make it 2-2 Anil as they try to chase down 60 for a victory here, and from all indications, all signs point to them doing exactly that.
Yeah, the Windward Islands coming off a very close encounter against the Guyana team at in the first round encounter.
Yep.
And they would have gone on with that victory to 4 points, and they're now chasing a target of 60 for victory, and I'm sure the likes of skipper Janelia Glasgow and company, they will fancy themselves to get that score without much alarms.
Well, I think they're going to open with the same pair, Nisha Cherry and Namaya Maslin, who opened against Guyana, and although they didn't set the plays alight, but I suppose as a coach or as a technical team, coach, captain, manager, they will be thinking, to give the players some kind of consistency, let them know that you're supporting them and you're giving them opportunities to do well.
Well, I think it's important from a think tank point of view, Ruskin, that you got to back your players. You're not going to shift them after one innings, and chop and change. You need to at least give these young ladies and them the opportunity, possibly 2 or 3 opportunities, so that they could, get themselves to a place where they feel comfortable playing at this level. I must admit, in the first encounter against Guyana, everything was not perfect for cricket. The pitch was a bit on the slow side, 2-piece, so it did challenge both teams, their batting lineups. But today the pitch here is in immaculate condition at the National Cricket Centre. The outfield is not the fastest, but it's by no way sluggish. So both Janela Glasgow and company, they will definitely fancy themselves here in getting over the line and propelling themselves into that number 1 position.
It certainly is a great opportunity for them. The 2 umpires are out there, the Leeward Islands, just having their last little team discussion, a little huddle, just at the edge of the boundary. And now they're on the field, and they're followed by the opening bat, Namaya Maslin and Naisha Cherry for the Windward Islands. So the Leeward Islands, they have it all to do here now. They didn't do as well as they would like with the bat. Now they have to really show up big time with the ball. That is the big question. Do they have what it takes to get the job done with the ball against this Windward Islands team?
And having said that, just expanding on that a bit there, the Leeward Islands, they had 24 runs to their total via extras from the Windward Islands. So just 25 runs coming off the bat from the Leeward Islands batters, and I'm sure they will want to improve on that as the tournament progresses.
It's always a question of making strides. You may not always get it right, but you certainly have to back yourself and work on certain things. You can't do all at once, and not all the players will probably put it into shape immediately, but as opposed as a coaching team, you want to see little things, so you give them small targets, and you try the best. The captain is the one who is going to open the attack here. Jazara Claxton is taking the responsibility, so she will be leading from the front here with the ball.
And it's going to be Maslin to be taking the first strike. Maslin, very powerful young lady. No nonsense kind of player. Likes to get on with it.
Batter. Right arm
So
over.
all the makings here now for Windward Islands victory, but they still have to get the runs. That's always the big question here.
Split.
Jazara Claxton it is. And immediately is cracked away nicely. That's going to go down to the point boundary, and that's 4 runs. What a way to start the reply, almost signaling that they're not going to muck around here, and they're going to try to get this as early and as quickly as possible.
So Claxton going full and wide outside the line of the off stump. Maslin just extended those levers and caressed that ball through that backward point position. And once it got through there, it had 4 written all over it.
What a way to start your innings with a boundary. And she must be feeling good. Short ball, and this time, I don't think she really went after it. She was just trying to nudge it without really trying to hit it hard. But it was there for the asking.
Yeah, short and wide, Nehemiah Maslin just trying to guide that ball along to the third man position and not making any contact.
This time she stands up straight and again, just getting the ball and guiding it square on the outside. That seems to be an area that she likes to play.
Yeah, Nehemiah Maslin getting back and across and just caressing that ball off the back foot there to that backward point position. But there's no run. But very organized player, Maslin, Nehemiah Maslin.
A lot of cricket going on. Trinidad and Tobago, as you pointed out, not too far from by us. They're playing one of the 2 games. They had to go for a quick single, and they will get it too, because a little bit of hesitation initially, but they still managed to get through that. So Maslin goes on to 5 now. Cherry will come on strike. And in addition to the Trinidad game, we also have Guyana out at the
Right arm over.
University of the West Indies. And we also have the Trinidad boys playing as well. Not doing as well as we would like.
Well, at this stage, they're really staging a mini fight back. They're 136-8 in over number 42. So Vasan Singh and Abdul Rahman, they're doing a bit of a repair job there for Trinidad and Tobago on the 19th. They're coming up against the Jamaica on the 19 team.
And of course, we have the 3rd Ashes test starting today. And England so far winning the toss, putting the Aussies in and doing very well. There's a delivery outside the off stump, and probably caught in 2 minds there. Again, trying to leave it alone and maybe thinking of playing.
So a lot of mental wars as well too, Ruskin, in that Ashes series. You know, there seems to be a lot of issues in terms of dismissals and, you know, so much on the field issues that's happening in that Ashes series.
A lot invested there. Here's another delivery outside the off stump, and not a bad over from Claxton. 5 off it. And at the end of the first over, it's 5 without loss, chasing 60 for victory.
So Nehemiah Maslin getting all 5 in the first over there. An excellent over there from Claxton. The first ball, full and wide, square driven through backward point for a boundary. But after that, you know, she really found her line and length, just asking questions outside the line of the off stump.
A good way to tidy things up and to keep things in perspective. And now we have is it Cheyenne Moses who is going to take up the attack from the top end. So the captain at one end and the vice captain at the other end.
So both the captain and vice captain taking the responsibility here to try and pry out some early wickets in the piece here. Try and put the Windward Islands batters under some pressure here with this new ball.
I suppose it's kind of like, it's understandable because these may be your 2 best bowlers. And so if you're going to have any chance at all, then you want to feature them early and often and hope that they get them some early wickets for you.
The Leeward Islands, they have adopted a umbrella field on the offside as well. Six fielders on the offside. They're bowling with a 6-3 field. Third man, backward point, gully, extra cover, short mid off, and conventional mid off, mid on, mid wicket, fine leg.
So remember, at this stage, they're allowed to have most of the players are in this case allowed appeal for an LBW. She's trying to turn it on the onside and not able to do so. So they're restricted in their field limitations. Nice fluent action going down leg.
Yeah, definitely going down leg. Luckily for Moses, Marsling didn't get any contact there. There's no square leg in position. Had she got some contact there, it definitely would have been 2 runs there into that backward square position.
There is a fine leg and a mid wicket as well as a mid on. That's the onside field, and she's getting it quickly. They're going to have to run here, and well, a big hesitation there because Marcelin stood up, ball watching, and the call came, and there was Cherry sprinting coming down, and eventually when the throw came to the wicketkeeper's end, because Cherry was already moving, she made it home quite comfortably. Marcelin was the one who was in some trouble had that ball been thrown at the non-striker's end.
Yeah, Marcelin, yes, no, ball watching, but Cherry was cheering away, coming down at the striker's end.
This time he's striking on the pad again, drifting, going down leg side. Not as quick as the previous delivery.
So Moses going, Chanel Moses going wide of the crease there, Ruskin, trying to angle that ball back into the sticks, but just overcompensating. It's starting on the pitch and just going further away.
Just to be careful. She's been struck on the pad a couple times now. There's one played up in the air and they want a single. It's not there. Again, these are some of the kind of the nervy moments of the game when the running between the wickets is one issue. They capitalizing on the bad deliveries. That's another issue for some of the players. So it's all of those things that they're trying to sort of come to terms with as they establish themselves.
And what is challenging indeed, Ruskin, as well, most of these players possibly playing for the first time together as a team.
There's another delivery down the leg side. Courtney Brown, would you believe it? A wicketkeeper by the name of Courtney Brown.
Does that remind you of someone, Ruskin?
It sounds familiar. I would say good day to the great Courtney Brown. Yep. Was it the Champions League? Was this? Yep. Yep. Champions Trophy. Short ball. This time she pulls it, but again she can't get it through. And they may get a single now because the return just eluded Brown, and they eventually got the single. It was backed up in the end by Warner, but not before they could go through for the single. So that will be a single for Cherry, and one more to the score takes it to 7 without loss after 2.
So Nehemiah Marcelin there, very attentive to what was taking place. From the moment that ball eluded the keeper, she called Cherry, and they were through for that run. So excellent awareness from both these openers here in the opening piece here.
Yes, and I think they must be thinking we need a good start. We want to give the team a good start, even if we were to lose wickets along the way. But we need to give the team a good start. The power play is 9 overs to begin with, so they would want to take advantage of that. Here's a short ball pulled away through mid wicket. They're going to get 1. They might get a second if they hurry, and they think about it initially, but then they decide against going for the second run as Kimberly Anthony was able to corral the ball.
Well, they should have gotten too easily there, and what contributed to the second run not taken, both batters were turning blind. They were turning blind there, Ruskin. So none of them were looking at the ball to get that extra run.
And again, those are just some of the areas where they're going to learn, or they'll have to learn how to take advantage of those opportunities, and the best way to do that. And I think when Anil talking about turning blindly is about dropping the bat with your back to where the ball is. And when in truth and in fact, you probably need to switch on. That's a good delivery, but it's well played. And good fielding all around. So good cricket. That was the vice captain again, Moses, getting down quickly to deny them.
So Moses moving in very quickly there, very sharp at that extra cover position. It was a nice, time off drive.
Another one on target from the skipper. Doing well here is Claxton. Just touching down, just short of a good length. The batsmen are going to have to go through the line if they want to drive her on the offside.
So the pitch is in immaculate condition, Ruskin. One of those pitches where you could close your eye and just extend the levers and hit through the line of the delivery.
Here she goes, thick outside edge, and it goes down to third man and eventually goes into the boundary for 4 runs. So she was flirting with danger there. Marcelin threw the bat at it, got a thick outside edge, but she got 4 runs. Nice away movement off the seam there from Claxton.
So Claxton just getting that ball to shape away at that 4th stump, but Marcelin really throwing the kitchen sink there, hitting the edge. The third man had no chance whatsoever to hold it in, and that boundary takes the score on to 12 without loss in over number 3. So Nehemiah Marcelin here, Rustlin, showing very early intent that she wants to get on with the business.
Yeah, Nehemiah Marcelin not afraid to drive the ball, but like I said, she has to be careful because there's a little bit of a way movement off the wicket for Claxton. Here she goes again. This time Harry Lal could come along and pick that one up. The last time she had to go to her left and she couldn't get around in time, but this one was much closer to her.
And I just want to re-emphasize the fact, Ruskin, in the first 6 overs of these contests, I would really love to see a stationary slip, being positioned in the early exchanges, just giving the opportunity, for the opening bowlers to try and pry out those opening batters.
It's almost like pressure off from the start for the batters. There's another delivery on target that is treated with respect to end the over. 2 to Cherry. Marcelin is on 11. It's 13 without loss.
So chasing a victory total of 60. The Windward Islands have made a very steady start here at the National Cricket Centre, getting off to 13 without loss in over number 3. Nehemiah Marcelin, she's showing that she's up to the task, and every given opportunity she's gonna try and score as quick as possible.
Again,
once there is a scoring opportunity, she's gonna try and cash in.
Which is a very positive sign, and that is without taking too many risks, because she likes to play the ball through the offside, and but if it's short, she also shows that she has the capability of pulling the ball. So they'll have to be very careful here. The length is crucial, but it's going to be Moses once more. Short ball, and she's hitting it back past the bowler right through the legs in her follow through. Moses very lucky there. That could so easily have struck on the shin or someplace, and but it missed everything as she was trying to feel it in her follow through.
Yeah, so that ball short of a leg there. It was hit very, very hard. Cherry.
Short ball, pulled away, that's 4 runs. From the moment it left the bat, and it just sat up there. And again, pretty much in line, Marcelin got into position nicely. Look at how the nice high back lift. And then she just swung and made good contact, 4 runs.
Yeah, Moses going into the pitch here, just possibly trying to get that ball where it gets big on the batter. But unfortunately for her, it just sat up for Marcelin to pivot inside the line of the delivery, and she deposited through that backward square position, and it runs away on this lush National Cricket Centre outfield for 4. And just coming back to Ruskin, what had transpired last year, this championship, the on the 19th Rising Star Championship, was of a 20 over nature. This year they've changed the format. They've added 10 more overs to the cricket, and it's positive signs in terms of getting these young ladies to have that, to develop, their batting for long periods of time.
Play a little more cricket. Here's another delivery on target, but again, Maslin just shuffles in behind it, very watchful, and keeping her eyes on the ball. And that is what the extra 10 overs will do, or at least you hope it will do, is to force them to play the ball on merit a little bit more rather than go chasing big shots, looking to score every time.
And remember, this tournament is of a developmental nature as well, so it does provide the ideal opportunity for these young ladies to really try and assess the conditions and apply themselves to become more proficient.
Another short ball, and this time she stood up there, and here you could see her thinking, maybe I could have pulled that one as well, and she seemed a little bit annoyed at herself that she didn't go through with the shot. However, there is a fielder placed down at that deep square leg position. The fine leg is now back in the circle, and the mid wicket has been brought a little bit straighter. So there is that adjustment. The player came from on the offside and is now positioned at deep square leg. And this time she's reaching for it outside the off stump, but couldn't catch up with it. So Moses changing the line here a little bit.
So Nisha Cherry and Nehemiah Maslin really assessing the conditions really perfectly at the National Cricket Centre. 60 for victory. They're off and running. They're 17 in over number 4, and they're making light work of this total at this stage.
And again, just shuffling in behind and playing this one with a straight bat to end the over. 4 overs completed. It's 17 without loss.
So Nehemiah Maslin being the enforcer here at the top of the innings for the Windward Islands, taking every opportunity to score. Nisha Cherry, she's there. She just seems to have a lot of time to play those deliveries as well, getting herself set. And the Windward Islands, Ruskin, they would possibly want to get this total without the loss of any wickets.
Well, more importantly, they'd probably try to get them in as few overs as possible because, as you were saying earlier, given the fact that we're in the rainy season and we could get rain at any time, you don't know when the net run rate will come into play at the back end of the tournament. So you want to, if you get an opportunity like this, you want to take full advantage of it. Let me say, talking about full advantage, say congrats to the Netherlands as they qualified for the World Cup alongside Sri Lanka, to the 2 countries going through.
Ruskin, you could have been a betting man, boy.
Here's this one down the leg side. They're appealing for an LBW, but it was way outside the leg stump, and they're going to run a leg by when it is all said and done. One more to the score.
So against all the odds, the Netherlands securing that second spot. Sri Lanka going through.
Orange. And here's the funny part about that. I say, boy, the West Indies lost a footballing nation. But then they came and they did it again because we lost to the Netherlands, we lost to Scotland. 2 countries that are more noted internationally for their footballing programs.
Yeah, they're more football-oriented countries. But I must admit that the sport has progressed so much, in these countries that, we can't take anything for granted anymore. There's a lot of coaching taking place. They're playing a lot of cricket within those countries as well.
And a lot of their players, a few of their players, I think, play in the English county or even in the English leagues. If they're not playing county cricket, they're playing in the English league, so they're exposed to a fairly high quality of cricket. Week in and week out. There's a brilliant delivery. She's bowled her. Just coming forward there. Cherry was just playing a little bit loosely and played inside the line of that one, and it clipped the stumps on the way through. She goes for 2. It's 19 for 1.
So excellent delivery there from Zahara Clarkson, getting that ball to shape in. Cherry playing away from her body, leaving that gap between bat and pad, and it goes into the sticks there. So a timely breakthrough indeed here. Skipper Clarkson making the breakthrough for the Leeward Islands team here. 19 for 1 in over number 5.
It's almost like if the innings mirroring each other. As the Leeward Islands lost their first wicket in over number 5 as well. But they were 15 for 1 in 5 overs.
So not much between the teams at this stage in terms of the comparison of the score. But at this stage it brings out Janelia Glasgow. And Janelia Glasgow, I was reliably informed, she has played international cricket for the senior West Indies team. So she does have, you know, a lot on her shoulders in terms of the responsibility to shepherd her team to victory here and lead by example.
Well, we saw that in the first game when they were in a spot of bother, but she weathered the storm, and then she was able to guide her team home 18 not out at the end. And we saw the quality, just the foot movement, just the way she approached her batting. You just saw that there was something there to work with. And to me, that is what I like about this Windward Islands team, is because we saw it with the ball, we saw their bowlers. You know, you saw they knew, they had a pretty good idea of what they wanted to, including herself, Glasgow, that she knows what she wants to do with the ball. And now she knows what she wants to do in the field as the captain as well. And then with the bat, you could see that there is a tremendous amount of talent there.
Well, she's definitely a cut above the rest, if you ask me, you know, showing that level of maturity. That 18 runs on any given day possibly could have been 40 not out, considering the conditions that she scored those 18 runs under.
She gets a short ball, she has to wait on it and pushes it out into the offside again. But just look at her mannerism, just her setup and just the mechanics of how she approaches her batting.
Yeah, she's very organized indeed. You can see her just getting into line. She's got acres of space on the leg side if she wants to access it as well.
Yeah, she is driving into her pads, and again, she will learn quickly that she has to accommodate that little inward movement that Claxton can generate.
So Skipper Claxton really charging in here at the National Cricket Centre, trying to keep this game into a competitive fixture. But Janelia Glasgow, she will have other ideas.
She gets a full toss, so she slaps it, goes right through the legs of the fielders 4 runs because they cannot track it down. It was hit hard. She got it under full, and she was able to get it right through the legs of Warner, and it went for 4.
Yeah, so a bit of poor feeling there from the Leeward Islands fielder at that extra cover position. But take nothing away from Janelia Glasgow. She just leant on that ball, played it on her eyes, and off she went. So that boundary takes the score on to 23 for 1 after over number 5. So Janelia Glasgow getting off the mark there with a sumptuous extra cover drive.
So positive signs from them. Again, Claxton would be probably slightly disappointed that it wasn't cut off, and because you could see her trying to get the ball up to encourage the drive. She probably just overpitched it as well because Glasgow hit it on the full, and she got 4 runs for it, of course, thanks to the missed field. But 23 for 1. Again, they continue to keep the positive scoring going, looking to move down this 60 as quickly as possible. And Moses now trying her bit at the top end, trying to keep things as tight as possible.
Maslin getting into really getting into line nicely there. Just rocks onto the back foot and plays it out to that cover position there. So Masling showing that she's got a lot of batting ability. Very organized indeed. She's got that trigger as well.
Here she goes, driving powerfully down to mid-off, but she can't get it through. It's blocked down there by the powerful figure of Anthony.
So Anthony making a very good stop indeed.
We saw Anthony with the bat, looked full of intent. Look, remember she hit one very hard that almost took her teammate with it at the non-striker's end. Short ball, hit down to a long one. They're going around, and there is Glasgow standing there watching. And again, we saw this in the first game. She was at the crease when there were 2 runouts and a possible third one as well. And here it is again manifesting itself because there's no way that she should be standing there on the bat and her teammate is sprinting almost 3/4 of the way down and she doesn't even move.
But the striker has the call in this situation, Ruskin.
Short ball again, but she can't take advantage. You're right. But again, these are just some of the mechanics of the game, the nuances in the game of cricket that you try to learn and try to master at an early age. Running between the wickets, whose call it is, trust your teammate with the call. And maybe that is her problem right now. She doesn't trust her teammates to make a good call. There's a short ball, and it goes right through the grasp of Brown, and it actually eludes the fielder at third man, and it goes for 4 runs. Really, Daly came across. She seemed to have it covered, but instead of bending down to pick it up, she put her foot at it, missed it, and it went right between her legs, and it went for 4.
Yeah, so very unfortunate indeed that ball spinning away from her at the last moment. But the Windward Islands, they would take that.
Now I'm trying to figure out, I think she might have gotten a touch, or is it 4 byes? It went for byes. And so it went for 4 byes. So 27 for 1 it is.
So Courtney Brown.
And again, she's on the back foot, just pushing it into the cover region. Can't get it through. Cyril is in the way. And that completes the over. So 6 completed, 27 for 1.
So the Windward Islands chasing a total of 60 for victory. After 6 overs, they're well placed at 27 for 1. Skipper Janelia Glasgow getting off the mark with a sumptuous extra cover drive in the previous over. But with her is her opening the opening batter Nehemiah Maslin on 16 from 23.
So it looks like Kimberly Anthony is going to pick up the attack now from this bottom end. And Kimberly Anthony, as you said, bowls a little medium fast. So we'll see if she is able to get anything off of this wicket. This is not a bowler-friendly wicket, although there is some turn if you could spin the ball. But she, of course, is eager to run in and see if she could get something out of the surface. But again, you can't ever forget the fact that this is such a big occasion for these youngsters to be representing their countries or their region in a regional tournament. Not all of them will go on to play for the West Indies, but this is an important first step.
Well, it is a great springboard for all these young ladies, Ruskin, to be able to come and play in this tournament.
There's Anthony Bowles. That's a good ball. It hit the edge, and it goes down to the boundary, close to the boundary it goes, and they only get 1. And again, the running between the wickets is so much is left to be desired here. And once again, it is Glasgow who is guilty of it. She probably is admonishing herself for getting the edge in the first place, but then she could so easily have taken a second run if she wanted to.
But Kimberly Anthony producing a peach of a delivery there, pitching and leaving Janelia Glasgow there, bat out to try, taking the edge. The wicketkeeper Courtney Brown unable to get her mitt in place to catch the ball. So a chance, nevertheless, Ruskin goes a begging.
Well, it is, and I think once the ball moves, I think that is part of the problem. So even if it moves off the edge of the bat, invariably it's that movement or that second movement is what we're not seeing. And you can see her now rehearsing, sliding from side to side, Courtney Brown. And this time it's coming into the right-handed Marslin.
So once the ball deflects, it is proven to be a big challenge for wicketkeeper Courtney Brown.
But it's not just the wicketkeepers, even the batters. Once the ball moves, we saw that in the first innings when the spinners were operating. Any kind of deviation at all caused problems. This one is short cutaway and not far enough or not close enough to the fielder Cyril, so she couldn't get under it.
So the latest score at Annisvale, Trinidad and Tobago being bowled out for 158.
Which represents a recovery of sorts.
But they were bowled out within 48 overs and not batted in their full allocation. Is the Trinidad and Tobago team.
But this is turning out to be a good over so far from Anthony. She got the edge first ball and she's kept things pretty quiet since.
A nice easy approach. She just seems to be bowling off her shoulders here, Ruskin. Very strong indeed.
And that one kept a little bit low. And but again, no attempt to even challenge their fielders. So it's almost as if, well, where have we seen this before? And one of the knocks on West Indies cricket is the inability to rotate strike and to cut down on the dot balls.
Well, it happens at all the different levels in West Indies cricket.
Very watchful on this occasion. So that is the end of a pretty good over from Kimberly Anthony. Just a one run coming from it. At the end of it, it's 28 for 1.
Yeah, Kimberly Alexander could have had a wicket in her first over there, bowling a peach of a delivery there to Janelia Glasgow, pitching and leaving the left-hander, taking the outside edge. Wicketkeeper Courtney Brown, struggled to hold it in, and it went away from her. So the Windward Islands chasing 60 for victory. After over number 7, they are well placed at 28 for 1 with Nehemiah Maslin. She's on 16, and skipper Janelia Glasgow is on 5 from 4 deliveries. So the current run rate 4.2, the required run rate 1.37. If the Leeward Islands were to win this game, they definitely would have to get all 10 wickets in the piece to stop the Windward Islands from victory.
Yeah, there's no question of them defending this total. They're going to have to bowl out the Windward Islands if they are to get a victory here. So it's going to be, that is what it's going to take for them. And this one is cracked away into the gap. It was high. That's 4 runs. That's very well played again by Glasgow. You could just see that she means business, and she just took that and hammered it away. Aliyah Weeks over pitching there and really just giving her a gift, and she just took it, says thank you very much.
Yeah, full and wide. All
it's a no ball. Yep.
And it's a no ball as well.
So now we have a free hit on top of that. And she goes again. This one's hard down to mid-on, but she doesn't really get it or get a hold of it, although it went racing down there. But again, just look at the intent and just the way she's shaping to hit the ball.
Yeah, possibly just trying to overhit that delivery there and getting too much bottom hand.
Here she's again getting one right up to her. This time Weeks does well.
So that boundary takes the score on to 33 for 1. So 27 required from 22.4 overs.
Weeks again pitching up, and they should get a single. No, they don't. And we've seen this from Glasgow. She's not prepared to run quick singles, sometimes not even off her own batting. She's more prepared to wait and see if she could do the bulk of the scoring, probably with boundaries. And that one again is hit into the gap, and that's going to be 4 more. It's going to be another full toss. It's going to be another no ball.
And it's going to be another boundary.
And another free hit.
So Weeks not getting it right here at all. Bowling 2 head height full tosses here and paying the ultimate prize. Janelia Glasgow just saying thank you very much, Aliyah Weeks.
And that's the problem. So you bowl a no ball. It gets dispatched for 4. And you now have to bowl the free hit delivery. So, and that could even cost you more. So it's really a double jeopardy. Short ball. She's looking to punch it through the offside. She thinks for a moment of a single, can't take advantage of it. We did see a wicket, well, you saw a bowl down off a free hit in the first innings. It turned out to be a dot ball, just as that one was. There's Weeks again, and again on target, but once more, Glasgow is nicely into line and plays it out. She really looks a cut above theirs. You could just tell the difference.
Yeah, very organized indeed. Has loads of time to play the delivery as well.
Short ball, and this time she's going to go for the quick single, and very well judged as well. So she gets the farm, the strike, as we say, at the end of the over. 8 gone is 39 for 1.
So the Windward Islands really running away with this total here. 60 for victory. After over number 8, they're well pleased at 39 for 1. Nehemiah Marsland, she's on 16, but Captain Janelia Glasgow, she's changed gears. She's 14 from 12 deliveries, but courtesy some friendly bowling from Aliyah Weeks in that over.
Yes, it was. Now it's a kind of a mixed bag from Weeks, because she did bowl a couple good deliveries inside of there, but then she produced those 2 sort of chest high full tosses outside the off stump that Glasgow just feasted on. And really just jumped up into double figures quickly. She's on to 14 now, and Marsland is on 16.
Yeah, both these full tosses, she climbed into those deliveries.
Yeah, she's again looking to score, and good fielding on that occasion. She doesn't get it through.
It's one of her favorite scoring areas as well. That from that third man to that backward point position, she does fancy herself to go through that area.
Let's see if Weeks, if Anthony could deny her that option. This is a wide delivery, and they're going to run, take one off of it as well. It was so wide that she went over there trying to catch up with it, but she couldn't.
So umpire Cowley signaling it's a wide. So 2 is going to be added to the score.
For a moment there, I thought he was going to take off. The length of time, they had him flapping his wings there. And we might have been short on umpire. Let me just say good afternoon to Denzel James, who is the 3rd umpire here today. James, a young man who we saw for many years battling national trials, doing his bit, and now making that transition into the umpiring environment.
Yeah, so many congratulations to Denzel James.
Right in behind it again is Marsland. Marsland has kind of gone quiet since Glasgow has come to the crease.
But what Glasgow has done really well, she has taken off the pressure from Marsling in terms of she having to go hard. But Janelia Glasgow, she's taken up the mantle of pushing the scoring on. So there's no need for Nehemiah Marsland to really try and do anything different.
She is again in behind it, but she can't get a single there. Too close is the fielder, Gandeo.
But Kimberly Anthony, she's doing a tremendous job for her team, coming on to bowl, and she could have had the wicket of the skipper of the Windward Islands team in the first over.
Here's one pitching up again, but once more she can't get it past that inner ring there. The field is well set, and the bowler is producing the type of deliveries that you could only score in those areas, but they're hitting them straight to the fielders, so she can't seem to break through at the moment. So she's on 16. Marceline waits. Again, she's a little bit cramped right now. It's almost as if the rhythm has gone out of her batting. And so she can't be. Previously, she was getting some of those short balls away. Right now, she can't seem to get it off the square. I don't know if it's instructions that she's getting from the captain at the other end. And this one is a wide, and this might very well run into the boundary. It does. So problems for the Leeward Islands. It's already a tough afternoon, and you don't want to give your opponents anything loose like that. That's a gift for more to the total.
Yeah, so wicketkeeper Courtney Bronx, she's having a difficult day at the office here at the National Cricket Centre. You know, really trying her best, but unfortunately for her, you know, it's one of those days that she'd really want to put behind her.
Yep, so that's 5 to the scoreline. It takes it up to 46 now.
So 14 required from 127 balls. It's just a matter of when it concludes now.
I think if you're a betting man, your money would be on the Windward Islands.
My money would be in the First Citizen Bank,
There you
Ruskin
go,
Mark.
of all places. Here is a Swati's bowler. She went right across that one. She was playing it on merit all the time. And like I said, it just seems as if the rhythm has gone out of her batting. And this time she just tried to get on with the scoring, hit right across the line, and has to go for 16, bowled neck and crop by Anthony.
But take nothing away from Kimberly Anthony. She's been bowling brilliantly. She's been hitting some excellent areas. And it's no surprise to me that she has gotten, you know, a wicket in the wickets column.
So 46 for 2 it is now. And so they're right there knocking on the door. And but of course, Marceline just couldn't see them over the line. She goes for 16, and she's been replaced by Anisha Fontaine.
But just coming back to the dismissal again, Ruskin, someone like Marceline should take, you know, in the future, should take the opportunity to try and survive these difficult moments in terms of battling, you know, until, you know, she's able to get her rhythm again. This is the reason why the CWI has taken the opportunity to expand this game to 30 overs, which gives the players the opportunity, more time, more balls in order to try and develop the game. It's a great initiative, you know, and we just have to wait and see how this really helps with the progression of the game in the region.
Well, we'll see if Fontaine can also get on with proceedings here. She is no doubt hoping to push on, keep the scoring going. So 9 overs completed.
So that brings the end of the power play. So now 4 fielders are allowed outside the 23-meter circle.
But quickly into line again, there is Glasgow. But she can't beat Anthony coming across from her position at mid-on, by the way, and cutting that off in a straight mid-off position. So very active, Anthony.
So Janelia Joseph just rocks onto the back foot there and punches it past the but she's unable to beat the fielder at mid-off.
Moses again on the legs and just picked off there. That's good cricket from Glasgow. Helping it really rather than trying to hit it.
But it brings Anisha Fontaine, the wicketkeeper for the Windward Islands team, on strike. She's going to be coming up against Shania Moses. So that single takes the score on to 47 for 2 in over number 10. So just 13 runs required.
Fontaine was run out for no score in the first game, and it was these two at the crease. So I think she would want to avoid that. And that's a very wide delivery that she was chasing after it, and got it up the toe of the bat.
Had she left that, possibly umpire Daniel would have extended her arm, signaling a wide.
13 from 123 balls.
But what we've noticed thus far in both innings is that the players they have a tendency to be playing the ball more with a horizontal bat rather than vertical bat.
There it is again. This time it's played into the gap. They don't run well. But like I said, the running between the wickets generally hasn't been at the best. But this pair, already they have history with the running between the wickets, because we saw where Fontaine was actually run out, and that was as a result of a call from Glasgow. So I think they will probably stay in their respective creases and not move unless it's absolutely certain.
Well, skipper Janita Glasgow, she were involved in 2 runouts in the last encounter against Guyana. So I'm sure that would possibly be playing on her mind as well in terms of that communication.
But I suppose as she goes up at the higher level, you cannot leave those runs, in the field. You have to take them. And so you have to learn how to take them. And part of it has to do with her backing up. Look at her at the non-striker's end. She hasn't moved from that position. She's just sitting, leaning on the bat at the non-striker's end. It's the end of the over. 10 completed. It's 47 for 2.
So the Windward Islands chasing 60 for victory. They are well placed at 47 for 2. Just 13 required from 20 overs. So it's just a matter of time before we wrap things up here at the National Cricket Centre. The Windward Islands running away with victory here against the Leeward Islands. The Windward Islands winning the toss this morning and inserting the Leeward Islands into bat, bowling out the Leeward Islands for a paltry score of 59. And making light work of it, skipper Janita Glasgow, she leading by example, going at a run-up ball here at the National Cricket Centre. So the Windward Islands are well placed to go with 2 wins after round 2.
Well, we have Glasgow facing up to her opposite number, Josiah Claxton, who's back into the attack now, 1 for 16 from her 3 overs so far. So captain against captain. And the legs, and that's turned away nicely for another comfortable single.
Well, aren't you surprised at all, Ruskin, the fact that Anthony got a wicket in her last over and she has been removed from the attack? What do you make of it?
Well, given the state of the game, I thought it would have been nice for her to continue to see if she can't pick up, because she has been bowling well. It's not like she hasn't been bowling well. However, Claxton probably thinks she has a good chance to maybe pick up another pepper here or 2 before it's all said and done. And, unless she wants to bring Anthony from the top end and try to keep things tight for as long as possible. And not following the script there. So Fontaine doesn't have to play, so that's 1 more to the total as it inches towards the 60 runs as required.
But again, skipper Claxton should have, that level of confidence to allow Anthony to continue, Ruskin.
And this time she's just short of a length, and no problems at all for Fontaine, who just stands up there nicely and pushes it back along the wicket.
And it just begs to ask the question as well, is the skipper Claxton not happy bowling from the northern end?
Well, that might be the scenario, but we'll see what she does when this over comes to a close. Short ball, but again not able to take advantage. So again, another lovely day, much improved from 2 days ago when it was rainy and cloudy all over central Trinidad and other parts of the country as well. Today is nice and bright and sunny. Short ball again, wide outside the leg stump. The wicketkeeper, Courtney Brown, somehow kicks it onto the offside, and they're able to scamper through for one more. So that brings up the 50. It's 51 for 2 now, and the runs just ticking over.
Yeah, so skipper Claxton being a bit wayward there, going on the leg side. Wicketkeeper Courtney Brong, she's having a nightmare day at the office here at the National Cricket Centre.
9 away now. Just 9 runs required for a victory here to stay perfect in the tournament, the Windward Islands.
So the Windward Islands just closing in.
And that's a great shot. That's gone for 6. Just over the boundary it goes. And the captain looking to end it in style here as Glasgow got under that one and with a nice swing, good follow through, and headed over the head of the fielder at mid-off. Could only watch it sail past her, and it goes into the long-off boundary. It goes over the ropes for 6 runs.
So Claxton serving up a half volley outside the line of the off stump. Genevieve Glasgow just whistled that over long on. A wonderful strike indeed.
3 away now. Down the wicket she goes, and she hits this one in the air, but luckily for her, it falls into the gap. And, well, would you believe she doesn't take a run? Well, I shouldn't say I don't believe, because we've seen it before. But she's still probably saying, look, she's going to end this here now. And because she was advancing down the wicket.
Yeah, so Genevieve Glasgow making her intentions very clear. She wants to get this done as quickly as possible. Taking 2 strides down the pitch, really trying to get at the bowlers here. But a tremendous straight drive indeed. A lofted off drive over a long off for a maximum.
Full toss, cracked away. That's going to be the game because it's going to roll. Well, it's going very close to the boundary. They might just get 2. And I think that's all there is. So the scores are tied here. I thought for a moment that one was going to run away to the boundary, but it's 59 now for 2 at the end of over number 11.
So just 1 required for victory here. The Windward Islands marching on to victory here at the National Cricket Centre. It has been a clinical performance indeed by the Windward Islands here. You know, really dominating this contest against the Leeward Islands. And skipper Genevieve Glasgow, she leading by example, scoring a brisk 24 from 19 deliveries. So just 1 required here for victory to take them to 2 wins after 2 wrongs.
And they're doing this quickly. It's only 11 overs. Well, we're into over number 12 here. And I think that was the somebody had asked how many overs I was giving. And I think I said 15, but they're going to do it much faster than that. 11 overs. We're in over number 12 here. The current rate is 5.36, well beyond the required rate. Moses is going to somehow try to prolong things here. And Fontaine treats it with respect. She's yet to get off the mark, Fontaine. She's been there for a little while now. 7 deliveries, to be exact. But another win for the Windward Islands. And so when you get 2 and 2, Anil, you must be thinking championships now.
Well, they're definitely in the ascendancy where this championship is concerned. Windward Islands, they're playing flawless cricket indeed. They're
Short ball.
well-oiled unit.
Yep, she was trying to cut this, and that's a wide, and that is going to be the victory for them, similarly to what transpired in the last game. They won that on a wide, and here they are again. The game has ended on a wide. So it's 60 for 2 in 11 overs and 1 ball, and comprehensive victory by 8 wickets for the Windward Islands, and they have done this in emphatic fashion.
Yeah, clinical performance indeed from this Windward Islands under 19 team. You know, doing the business in the first innings, winning the toss and inserting the Leeward Islands into bat, putting on a splendid performance indeed. Skipper Genevieve Glasgow getting 3 for 6, and the off spinner
Amaya Gilbert
getting 4 for 10.
Yep.
So the Windward Islands making light work of this Leeward Islands team and propelling themselves to the top of the table after round 2 here at the National Cricket Centre.
A comprehensive victory indeed by the Windward Islands, and just 11 overs and 1 ball for their victory. So they won by 8 wickets, and they're showing signs that they are. It's almost as if they haven't really hit top gear as yet, but they're moving in that direction, and that could be an ominous sign for the other teams coming after to play against them. So again, 16 to Marslin, 2 to Cherry, but it's 24 not out to skipper Glasgow, her second not out of the tournament. In the first game, she was 18 not out, and here she is again, 24 not out in this one. So they're yet to dismiss her so far in the series. So a comprehensive victory once again for them. And Amaya Gilbert, I suppose, will be the player of the match in this one, in this Rising Stars tournament. Congratulations to the Windwards once more.
Well, I'm a bit, taken aback of what transpired here today, Ruskin. With the tournament, being a 30-over affair, you really want to see these young ladies, bat their entire allocation. And I'm sure this has been a concern and will continue, to be a conversation all around the region in terms of, our players batting out their allocation of the overs. Even in the 50-over format, we still find ourselves wanting to bat the entire allocation. So something, needs to look at maybe, in going into the future, into how we can, get these teams to bat out their full allocation.
Well, when you consider they won this game with 18 overs and 5 balls to spare, that's a whole other innings, if you know what I mean, in there.
Yeah, so the Windward Islands, the Windward Islands winning by a canter here, by 8 wickets, and really dominating this contest from the word go.
They certainly, and they have every reason to be happy, as they have made it 2 in 2. They remain at the top of the table, up to 8 points now, and regardless of what happened in the other matches, the most that anybody could get would be to 6 points. So they will still be up at the top of the table for them. So the Windward Islands completing another emphatic victory here at the National Cricket Centre, and we want to congratulate. Just as we say that, there's a little bit of cloud cover coming from the east, trying to sort of engulf the National Cricket Centre here. So on behalf of Anil and Ruskin Mark, thanking you so much for being with us, and continue to stay with us as we continue our coverage of the Cricket West Indies Rising Stars Women's Under-19 Championships. And as we leave you from the National Cricket Centre for the last time, the Leeward Islands 59 all out, and in reply the Windward Islands getting to 60 for 2 to win by 8 wickets for a very comprehensive victory. We'll see you on Sunday when we have our next round of matches.